Like I love Coach Morrill for everything he did. Don't get me wrong. Like I love playing for him. I love the Aggies. But there were occasions I look down south and go, that offense
Looks pretty good.
that seems like something that would be okay for me.
Fredette for the lead. Yes! Fredette with the three. Bullseye! What a shot by Fredette!
Punchtime. The boy gave us more trays than a
He's got his J back, folks, and the eye of the tiger.
This is From the Logo with Jimmer Fredette.
Let's dance. It's March. I am Spencer Linton. He is Jimmer Fredette, and we are built from the logo. Nice to have all of you with us for our deep range conversations about life inside and well beyond the world of sports. Jimmer, welcome back from your world travels on the 3x3 circuit.
Man.
How's your jet lag, brother?
I got back at 2 a.m. last night. So got myself about 4 hours of sleep, woke up at about 6, but it's one of those things. You just get used to it. I've done it a lot now, done a lot of China trips, did a lot of trips all over the world. I was in Thailand first, right, for the 3x3. We'll talk about that in our 3x3 segment that we have coming up a little bit later in the show. Excited about that. But then I went to Macau, China, which if you don't know anything about Macau, China, it is literally the Vegas of China. They have the Wynn Palace, they have MGM Grand, they have a crazy amount of casinos. They're beautiful, they're brand new. There's a lot of events happening there. There's NBA games that are happening in Macau. So I was over there for a camp with Under Armour, actually, to kind of finish now. So I was over there for about 10 days, just got back, and I said, let's jump on a pod right away because I can't wait to get back into it and see my guy Spence. So that's what we did.
Yeah, welcome home, man. Like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Today of all days?
Yeah.
Hey, but I respect the hustle, brother.
Bringing the fire to everyone. Let's go.
Let's go. Our purpose in this podcast is to uplift, educate, and entertain, often combining sport and faith with an array of topics. We focus on impactful moments, experiences, and decisions that have shaped the lives of Jimmer, myself, and our MVP guests. As always, we're building for something better and doing it together. With that said, if you missed last week's episode, please do yourself a favor and bookmark it right now to listen to after, of course, this week's podcast. Meta World Peace, Jimmer, was not surprisingly an incredibly fascinating guest. He spoke on everything from his favorite moments during the NBA championship run he had with the Lakers, to rapping with Kobe Bryant, to overcoming depression and alcoholism after the infamous Malice in the Palace NBA brawl, and now why he's coaching women's college basketball and why he wants a managerial position in the NBA Players Union. We talked about it all. It was a wildly entertaining conversation.
No, it was so good. I appreciate Meta for coming on. I've done a couple of trips with Meta over to China, actually, and he's one of those guys that is very unique, and he has complete different perspectives than what you think. But he's thought about these things. It's well thought out. It's not something where he's just like, hey, this is, just kind of willy-nilly. He actually has thought about this stuff and puts some time and effort into it. He has some really great takes. Just such an interesting conversation. So definitely go check it out. It'll be worth your time. He did an awesome job. We'll have to get him back on at some point, and we're still vying for him to get a head coaching job, Spence. We are going to do that until it happens for my guy Meta.
Taking Coach Meta to the next level. We are ready for the opening tip-off, and here is your starting lineup today, beginning with why Jimmer is now on the defense about picking Florida to win the national championship in March Madness. Did Jimmer sneak in a second bracket?
Listen, we're going to talk about this in a minute.
Conveniently.
I'll tell you in a second. Just keep going. All right, keep going.
Which team in the NCAA tournament has been the biggest surprise? Hey, our featured guest knows a thing or 1,000 about the pressure of March basketball. He played in 2 NCAA tournaments with Utah State. One of the greatest shooters in college and European basketball history. That is not hyperbole. No. Jaycee Carroll joins the show. Does he think the age of the Cinderella team has officially come to an end? Does the slipper no longer fit? Plus, our latest grammar pet peeve of the week and a loaded edition of Open Gym where all of you bring the mailbag heat. Jimmer, can you hold off the jet lag for a little bit longer and handle this?
Let's go. Yeah, I'm amped up right now. I just had a spilt, so I'm like caffeinated and ready to go.
Fair enough. Let's take our shot with the early trade. Driven by BMW of Utah and BMW of Pleasant Grove. 3 top-of-mind subjects to set the pace and get the conversation rolling into high gear. Jimmer, number 1, drive faster, please. Number 2, are you ready to shoot?
I will not drive faster. I'm always ready to shoot.
Okay, number 1. You picked Florida on this podcast to win it all and go back-to-back. Well, they lost to Iowa. What happened, bro?
I was good. You know, let me tell you something, okay? That pick was obviously a little bit before the conference tournament happens, just so we know, full disclosure, okay? And, it did happen. I thought Florida was playing the best basketball in the country. They were. I really did. They were playing great. They kind of have everything. They got the size. They got the guards. They got scoring, all of this stuff. They got the coach. They've done it before. They were playing great basketball. And I did on the podcast, obviously, pick Florida. When I actually got to my bracket after, the conference tournaments and the seedings came out, when I put my actual bracket winner in, I didn't actually pick Florida.
What?
I didn't actually
confirm that this happened before the tournament started?
Yeah, well, it's on the bracket. So, I mean, what do you want me to do? I could show you who it is. It's digital bracket. I got it and I have it. And, I got it in I'll show you. I went with Duke. I ended up going with Duke. I just think that they have played the best all year. They've been consistent. They've been close recently. I think they get over the top. It's one of those things, Spence, when did it become a problem for people that are in media like ourselves? We're in the media now.
Yes, we're in the media.
Why can't we change our picks? Like, what is this? We can't change our minds. We have to be like, you know what? This is what we do, and we just live and die by this for the rest of our lives. I changed my pick, all right, before he did it. I went to Duke, but I was wrong, obviously, on Florida. I was wrong. I will take that because I still had them in the Final Four. It's not like I didn't have them winning. I still had them in the Final Four. But Iowa played great. That's a good basketball team. They have a great coach. All he does is win. And, I'll take my lumps.
I respect that take. And you're right. When you say something in front of a camera, it's there often forever.
Yeah.
And we do it to ourselves. We put it out there. But
absolutely.
Not surprisingly, at least a few people were circling back like, oh, how about those Hawkeyes? Yeah. They always find the clip. They always find the clip.
And I deserve it. It's okay. I can take it. But I did put Duke on my my official sheet. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm still alive as far as that's concerned.
You got Duke, and you still have 3 of your Final Four teams in with the Blue Devils as your pick to win it all. My Final Four, for the record, and I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, put it out
Duke,
there now.
Arizona, Arizona, Michigan, 3 number 1 seeds and a number 2.
Yeah, it was probably the way I should have gone too. But you're smart. You got it. You're in a good spot right now. You're in a good spot.
We'll reconvene next week and see how things are going after the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight.
Yep. That's how it works.
Let's have some more fun with NCAA tournament superlatives in topic number 2. Who's the biggest surprise team so far in March Madness?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, Spence, because like you said, there's not a real Cinderella. There just isn't, right? Texas is an 11 seed. That is not a Cinderella story. They have one of the biggest budgets in college basketball / in sports in general. That's one of the biggest brands. I'd have to say it's Iowa, right? Like that would be the biggest, Cinderella story at this point by beating Florida. Obviously, have had to win 2 really tough games to get to the Sweet 16. Most people did not have them picking them against Florida. A 9 seed beating a 1 seed has not happened very often. And I've checked this out recently, a stat, and there was only like 6-7 times that it's happened. In March Madness. So it's not like it's an upset that happens a lot. So that would be obviously the one people would surprise, but people in Iowa obviously are like, well, I don't think it's an upset at all. These guys have played great all year. They got Bennett, and he's a great guard. That's a top 20 probably pick in the NBA draft. I mean, they have some really good dudes over there. So it's not like it's an upset. So no Cinderellas this year, Spence. What do you think?
Yeah, as far as the team that is alive that has been the biggest surprise, I'm with you. It's Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't been in the Sweet 16 in 27 years.
Yeah.
Not since 1999. So for
Pretty
them
crazy.
to break through
Think
and
that.
beat
Yeah.
Florida and do so just with an epic press break to an open corner three, and then they hold off Florida at the buzzer like that, all was magical. So Iowa, that is the biggest surprise of teams that are still alive. Before that, and I don't want to call them a surprise because I picked them in my bracket to get to the Sweet 16. High Point University. A lot of people didn't know about High Point. They got a $5 million NIL budget, Jimmer. $5 million. Beautiful campus in North Carolina. They dominated the Big South Conference. They chartered 2 different flights out to Portland for their students and
Really
admins.
cool. Yeah.
Like, they have money. Yeah. They can shoot it at a high clip. Yeah. So fun to watch. So I think they caught most of the nation by surprise as the 12 seed to upset Wisconsin. And they took Arkansas, deep into that game. Really, really entertaining game there. So High Point is no longer in it. They surprised the nation, but I'm with you. It's Iowa right now. Sure. Okay, next superlative. The lowest seeded team, with the caveat of this, it has to be a 4 seed or worse. Yep. So lowest seeded team, most likely to make the Final Four. Go.
My opinion, it's Arkansas. I love Darius Acuff. I think that kid is special.
He's a bucket.
He is an absolute bucket, and I love bucket getters. I know a bucket getter when I see one, and that kid can score. And he can play. He can command an offense. He can also pass. Like, he's not just a scorer. That guy could pass the basketball. He gets guys involved. He makes the right play. He's so calm, cool, and collective. I love his demeanor when he's out there. That's perfect for the tournament. And if you have a really great guard that can command an offense, they can take it to the Final Four. We've seen it done many times in the NCAA tournament. So I think that Arkansas is that team.
They have to get through Arizona, but if they do, watch out.
Yeah.
Like, if they get through Arizona, and that's a tough matchup for Arizona because Arkansas has the athleticism and size to compete with the balance and size and athleticism of Arizona.
Yes.
Like, that to me is the most intriguing Sweet 16 game, along with Iowa and Nebraska. Like, Iowa and Nebraska.
That's going to be so good. That's going to be so... People don't realize how big of a deal that is.
But you're right. Arkansas, like that's people would call this a bad matchup for Arizona. I don't know that Arizona's afraid of anybody because they have played like the toughest schedule in the country and have just consistently delivered. I mean, the team won at UConn, for crying out loud. They beat Florida. They won the Big 12 going away. They're so good. But that matchup, like, if Arkansas and John Calipari get through Arizona, they absolutely, I think, will be in the Final Four.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think I like that pick a lot. And like I said, they got Calipari with another incredible guard. I don't know how he does.
Yeah.
How he does it. He just gets these guards out of nowhere. It's amazing.
Okay. Favorite player in the tournament thus far?
Oh, favorite player in the tournament thus far. That's a great question. I'm gonna have to say, man, that's a good. I love the kid from High Point. Like, I can shoot it.
Chase Johnston.
Chase.
Yes, I was waiting for you to say him, especially in transition when he pulled up from the logo and just drilled a 30-plus footer. Yes.
Zero fear. None at all. He's like, I'm open and I have a shot. I am taking it. I don't care what time of the game it is. I don't care what the shot clock is. Everyone's like, oh, there's so much time on the shot clock. He doesn't care. He's open. He's open and he has a good look and he can help his team by making those shots. He was going to do it. And it was fun to watch him play. He had such a quick trigger. His shot is so quick. Impressive stuff. So it was fun to watch him play.
Chase Johnston, really, really fun personality. Wears number 99, and I mean, deeply religious kid, had scriptures on his shoes, right? But the 99 is for the 99 and 1, a reference to Jesus Christ and the lost sheep. I thought that whole storyline was cool. Really, really cool. I'll give you a couple of others. Number one, shout out to Matas Voikataitis of Texas. Like, that dude is a monster. Monster big man for Texas. I underestimated him. Yeah. Like, holy cow, that really dude is so tough and playing really well. And the other is Yaxel Lendenborg of Michigan.
Ooh, I think that dude is so fun to watch. He is very, very good. And one others too is Peja Stojakovic's son. He had a great game that first game. Had over 21 points off the bench. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, great stuff. Okay, those are your superlatives from the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. Hey, Jimmer, number 3, your alma mater and 6th seed BYU and prospective number 1 NBA draft pick AJ DiBonsa bowed out of the tournament in the first round as they were upset by Matas and the 11th seed Texas.
Yeah.
Now the Longhorns are on a heater. They beat Gonzaga. They're into the Sweet 16 for a matchup with Purdue. Wouldn't be surprised to see them get to the Elite 8.
Nope.
The way they're playing, it's a bad matchup for Purdue.
Sure.
But this is about BYU for the moment. Their early exit has raised some questions about AJ's decision to, 1, attend BYU, and then the return on investment for BYU with AJ. It also prompted Stephen A. Smith of ESPN to say the following, and I quote,
I was never excited about him going to BYU. Not even a little bit. I was never excited about that. I don't know why the hell he went to BYU personally. It should have been somewhere else. That's just me.
Well, that's just me. End quote from Stephen A. Now, let's continue the fun, shall we? Our friend and esteemed guest from a few weeks ago, Fran Fraschilla, responded in kind. Fran's quote, I'm not sure if Stephen A. Smith was trying to purposely trigger my BYU men's basketball fan friends when he said on First Take that AJ should not have gone to BYU. Don't let him. He actually is a very nice man, and the show is mostly shtick. No NBA GM is calling him. I'm not sure there was a better fit for AJ to thrive this season. No one could have predicted all the injuries. I'll always remember the season as one of the best in Big 12 conference history. The coaching, the competition, and the love shown by Cougar fans this season, along with his incredible talent and character, could not have worked out any better for him. End quote. A lot of information there, 2 very different opinions from Stephen A. and Fran. Jimmer, how do you view AJ's decision to go to BYU and the return on investment for BYU with AJ DiBonsa?
I think it was awesome. I think that AJ DiBonsa decided that he wanted to go play for a coach that was going to develop him and get ready for the NBA. Like, that was his main thing, and understood, right? He's going to be a top number 1 or 2 draft pick. You cannot tell me that coming into this season that he was the prohibitive number 1 favorite, because he was not, right? Darren Peterson was on the draft boards as the number 1 pick. This season for him specifically, he has changed a ton of people's minds saying that he actually probably should be the number 1 pick, including Stephen A. Smith. And I think that that's something that is because BYU gave him that framework to go out there and play the game at his level, but they understood his game. They put him in the best situations so that he could succeed on the floor, and he averaged over 25 a game. So for him, obviously, I think that it was a great decision from him. His whole draft stock, his personality, he was on big time television all the time. BYU was playing in very high level games, whether it was against UConn or Wisconsin, or then in the Big 12. He played in a ton of high level games. So for him, I think it was an awesome thing. Now for BYU, I also think it was a great thing. Like, the amount of publicity that BYU got because AJ DiBonsa came to the school was unprecedented, right? Like, it has not happened since I had been at the school, where they were on ESPN. They were getting talked about. He's on all these talk shows. Everyone is talking about BYU and what's going on in Provo. They obviously had an incredible start to the season. They were top 10 in the country. Injuries obviously were a big part of this season, where they didn't actually get to reach their potential as a team, which is unfortunate. It does happen in sports, right? So they had the early round exit. They didn't win a game in the tournament. The end of the season was a little bit disappointing. There's no saying that it wasn't. We understand that as a BYU fan, but at the same time, it shows that top level talent can go to BYU, play extremely well, develop really well, and be able to move on to the NBA at a top 1 or 2 pick. So it's paving the way to have more guys like Bruce Branch and other 5 stars that want to come play at BYU. And eventually, if that continues to happen, we're going to find a team that ends up in the Final Four. It's going to happen just because he's going to continue to put good players on there. They're going to have a good culture. They're going to put guys into the NBA. You're going to see a lot of BYU players that are in the NBA that are high level, possible all-stars from BYU. That is a huge return on investment for the school, whether it happened this year, because we all know it was disappointing, but in the future, it's absolutely worth it.
I'll add this much. I know in its own vacuum, BYU not winning an NCAA tournament game feels like a significant disappointment.
100%.
And it was. It was
It
to
is.
AJ, was to Kevin Young, was to the entire team, the school, the staff,
Yeah.
the admins. It was a disappointment.
I get it.
The expectations were very high that BYU was going to, at worst, get to a Sweet 16 and maybe challenge to get to only the second Elite Eight ever. They didn't win a game. So again, in its own little sphere, that is incredibly disappointing. But
It
you
is.
have to understand it's bigger than just the win-loss record in the NCAA tournament. It's everything that AJ did over the course of his entire season. First-team All-American, consensus first-team All-American. Joining you in that regard, Jimmer. Doesn't happen often. And doing it in the Big 12. They were 16-1 before things got derailed a little bit, and then certainly the injury to Richie Saunders put BYU in a real bind. And to their credit, they figured it out. They worked back up to a 6 seed, lost in the tournament, disappointing. But the retroactive waves that are already happening, recruiting, and AJ's name being tied to BYU forever, and he was asked, hey, are you going to continue a relationship with BYU as you move forward? He did not hesitate, said 1,000% yes. And then he doubled down, said, I know that this season was full of adversity, but his words, I would not have wanted to go through that with anyone else or any other team. Like, what a statement by him when he could have said a million different things and his frustration would have been understandable. He doubled down that BYU is the perfect place for him. So really appreciated that. Second thing I'll add is ESPN college basketball analyst Seth Greenberg also said recently, well, you would have liked to see complimentary pieces around AJ, and it's frustrating that it didn't work out. I want everyone to remember, in October, Seth Greenberg told the folks at BYU and at BYU TV that BYU had a Final Four roster. Like the same guy. He said, how quickly we forget when you lose guys like Richie Saunders, Dawson Baker, Nate Pickens, 3 of your top 7 guys out for the season. How quickly we forget that he did have the pieces around him. And if those pieces were in play, who's going to tell me the BYU wasn't going to be a 2, 3, 4 seed and then be in the Sweet 16? Come on, right?
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I mean, season-ending injuries are extremely difficult, right? Like I was a part of a team going into that tournament where we had guys that were injured and also guys that couldn't play, right? And it is not easy. It's hard to change the complexion of your team completely, and you have to learn how to do that on the fly. We were fortunate to be able to do that, and we were able to make a Sweet 16 run anyway, which was incredible, and everything went well for us as far as that's concerned. But we also had guard leadership. We had senior guard leadership, and in the tournament, I told you that is absolutely key to make a run, to have senior guard leadership or guard leadership in general. So it was one of those things where most people thought that BYU was going to be in the Final Four mix before the season started. When you see the roster, when you have Richie, you have AJ, you have Rob Wright, you have all these guys, everyone saw the potential of that roster and were like, yeah, this is a potential Final Four team. It's all, hindsight's 2020. That's how it works. We understand that, but that's a separate conversation from the ROI that BYU got, right?
Yes.
Like the ROI that BYU got is there. Whatever happens, if AJ goes on to be an all-star and an all-NBA player,
Amazing.
guess what? That's good on BYU. And that's going to continue to go throughout his career. And whoever else, Yegor Demet, right? If he's able to go and do some great things, that's on BYU as well. If Bruce comes here and has a great career and then all of a sudden goes to the end, that's all ROI that's going to continue to come back to BYU. Whether this happened, obviously it was disappointing this year. We all thought so, but that's a different conversation.
In 10 seconds, any chance AJ comes back for another season?
No. No chance. I will force him to go. That is not the right thing. Go do your thing, my man. You did what you needed to. Go out there, get your money, go be an NBA All-Star someday. It's time. It's
I
time.
can't even get through the question without laughing. Oh my gosh. The early Trey, and from the logo no less. Hey, let's take our first break. When we come back, one of the best shooters in the history of college and European basketball, Jaycee Carroll, takes on the Minky Couture full court press, his favorite to take home a national championship in 2026. And is the Cinderella era of college basketball over? When From the Logo continues, presented by Built.
It's like you're diving into brownie bliss with chocolatey gooey lava that erupts in a world of flavor. And it has 17 grams of protein. What the puff? Hit me. Oh!
Fluffy, chocolatey, and packed with protein. What the puff? Built Puff.
Welcome back to From the Logo with Jimmer Fredette, teamed up with Built. It's time for the Minky Couture full court press with our VIP guest. A reminder, you can send your VIP the best blanket ever, just like we do for our guests at softminkyblankets.com. I've said it before, I'll say it again, Jimmer. Even tough guys need a good blanket. And our guest today epitomizes toughness. He is the pride of Evanston, Wyoming, a rancher, and frankly, one of the best basketball shooters I've ever seen. A college basketball star for Utah State University, leading the Aggies to 2 NCAA tournament appearances, a 2-time All-American, and USU's all-time leader in scoring with over 2,500 points. An international basketball star as well. Welcome, Jaycee Carroll. Jaycee, welcome to From the Logo.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited. Happy to be here. I don't know how I got on the radar to be a guest. I'm happy I am, but I think it may have had to do with a picture I posted of Jimmer Fredette with Eddie Tavares in the background, and that seemed to be the genesis of maybe making this happen.
Right? I think he was blocking my shot. I think that was the picture, and it was wonderful. And I saw that. I was like, man, we got to get Jaycee on. He's a great dude, obviously incredible basketball player. Jaycee is actually 2-0 against me as far as basketball. When we've played against each other in the EuroLeague, and he was on Real Madrid, I was on Panathinaikos. They beat us both times, so that's it's a tough one to swallow. So it's hard to chat with him right now, but it's all right.
Yeah. Hey, I had a good team. I had good teammates. I just had to hang out and do what they. We had good teammates.
You guys had a great team. You guys were always so good.
Jaycee, just wondering, how was your green light to shoot at Utah State under Stu Morrill compared to Jimmer's at BYU with Dave Rose?
I had a red light is what that would have been.
Right?
A red light. Like I love Coach Morrill for everything he did. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like I love playing for him. I love the Aggies, but there were occasions I look down south and go, that offense
looks pretty good.
That seems like something that would be okay for me. But Coach Morrill, here's a simple thing with Coach Morrill. Yeah. I'm in my senior year.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty good. I'm the all-time leading scorer at this point. I'm making baskets. I'm shooting 50% from three-pointer. We have a play that everyone knows is dribble. I come down, I cut to the corner, I catch in the corner, and I'm supposed to look for the big man.
Yep, every time.
That's it. I came off that. My guy falls down. He's sitting on the block, laying on the ground. I shoot the three-pointer. I make it. I'm a senior. And get him out of the game. Takes me out. Jaycee, you're not allowed to shoot that shot. Go check back in. Like, all right, there we go. That's a Coach Morrill green light. An equal opportunity offense, but so that's kind of how that went. We were allowed to play, but we had to play defense, and we had to get stops before we were allowed to go.
Sure. No, I know. You guys, he was a great coach. Obviously, you guys were so disciplined, and it showed. You guys have had an amazing program for I don't know how long up there at Utah State. It's a tough place to play. We talked about it on this podcast. It's awesome. But yeah, for you to score over 2,600 points in that offense is it's pretty impressive. Like, it's pretty impressive. So, being in an offense that's a little bit more green light, I'm sure you would have done even better, but it's incredible to see. I do want to chat about your Aggies right now, though, right? Like the Aggies, obviously, they had a great run. Were able to win that first round game, play against Arizona. Tough draw, right? We've talked about this a little bit, but do you think that they were underseeded because they had such a great season in the Mountain West, won both the conference tournament and the regular season? You think they were underseeded? Do you think they could have made a Sweet 16 run if they didn't have to play against, obviously, Arizona?
Yeah, look, I think it's easy to say hey, they were underseeded. And I agree. I think they were. When they came across as a 9, we all kind of scratched our heads a little bit. Like, really, like a 9 seed? We go, Mountain West, 2 or 3 years ago, had 4, maybe 5 teams in the tournament. This year, they're a one-bid league. The Aggies were ranked nationally at one point. Not only, it was one thing to win the regular season. Like, all right, these guys battled. We got the Spectrum. We don't lose in the Spectrum. But then to go into Vegas and actually go and repeat and just beat and win that tournament, it's like, okay, we're not being greedy. Like, hey, we're probably a 7 seed at the most. We're not saying we need a 3 or 4, but probably a 7 seed. And it just sets up that second round matchup to be a little bit better. It's hard to win in NCAA tournaments at all, but let alone when you're playing the number 1 seed in your region. I'm teasing Mason Falslow. I'm like, hey man, nice job. You got another tournament win. You got 2 more wins than I ever got. He's poking me. And I just make the comment, like, it's hard to win when you're a 15 seed.
Yep.
And then when you're a 12 seed, like it's hard to win and go deep when you start at that starting point.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you understand the pressure of March basketball and certainly the difficulties of being in a tough seeded position. But the Aggies got that first win. It was tough. They took care of Villanova. And I thought they showed really well against Arizona. But as you assess just the pressure of the tournament, what's the key to handling the bright lights of March Madness, Jaycee?
Yeah, honestly, my NCAA tournaments that I played in, my freshman year was actually maybe my better performance. It was against Arizona, ironically. But the key to that tournament was just pure naivete. I didn't put any weight on the tournament. I remember we won the Big West tournament to go. I was the tournament MVP, and they interviewed me afterwards like, hey, show me your best dancing shoes or your best dancing moves. I was so confused. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I love basketball so much, but like the gravity of, win this game and you're in, just didn't sink in with me at that point. I just wanted to go run my plays, make my shots, play defense, and do what I was supposed to do, and that was it. Now, later on, playing professionally, I ended up winning, 20 international championships, losing another 10 or 12 in the championship game. And the thing that really made those less stressful for me is to go in, treat it like it's any other game. Like, I don't need to do anything special. I don't have to, there's no special sauce. I just go execute the game plan that I've executed all year, and I'll have success.
Yeah, no, for sure. It does, that tournament does feel different though, right? When you get into it, you're just, it's crazy. What was that moment when you realized, okay, this isn't just a normal game playing at the Spectrum or, playing against another opponent? Like, when was that? Was it the day before the practice where you get on the court and all the cameras were there? Because that was kind of it for me, where I was like, this is a practice, that we have that's open with all of these cameras. And then you go into the room and then there's, you have to do all this media and stuff. And that's where I was like, all right, this is a little different.
Yeah, that's what was the moment for me. They give you a special little pin back in the day to be able to get into the practice round. And then you do got the media and, you got people watch, you open a door and you're on the court and it's different. We played at Boise and, it wasn't the same court. They had their old court put in. And then you started to feel like, this is special. Then you go to the press room. Now, let's be honest. The press that we were sitting in front of for round 1 is much different than the press you were sitting in front of for your round 1.
Yeah.
It just was.
Yeah,
there was a lot of Jimmer mania going on when we were, I think we were a 15 seed, playing Arizona, who had a great team. And so our press coverage a little different at that time.
When you consider your 2 tournaments, Jaycee, what was your favorite March Madness memory?
For me, it was pretty simple. I keep going back to my freshman year one. That ended up being such a impactful moment for me. My second time we played in San Diego, we played Brandon Roy, Washington. We thought we had a chance. We thought we'd be that 12 that would upset the 5, and we ended up losing by 15. But for me, the Arizona, a couple of reasons. One, they have Salim Stoudemire on the team. Salim Stoudemire was just finished his senior year at being a 50-50, a 90-50-50 guy.
Crazy.
Only one in NCAA history, I think.
Yeah.
Fast forward to that, my senior year, I finished 90-50, 49.6%. And so
he's still the only one.
He's still the only one. I was kind of heartbroken, but I got to play against Salim, and I watched him, Channing Frye, Hassan Adams. But afterwards, I had a good game. I got to go to the press room, and while we're waiting to get on, I'm sitting there next to Lute Olson, which for me, as a young kid, my freshman year of high school, we go to Vegas for a coaches tournament or coaches conference with my dad, and we listen to Lute Olson talk. Then afterwards, we go get his autograph on a basketball. And my dad goes, "Hey, love your program. This kid's going to be a good basketball player. You need to have your eye on him." And it's kind of joke. I'm a dumb kid from Wyoming. Like, you guys, like, yeah, look at this guy. I was
Wyoming.
I was like 5'4" at the time as an eighth grader. It's like this guy. And then so sitting back in the press room, I got to say, "Hey, Coach Olson, love everything you do. Look up to you." About 5 years ago, it was actually about 7 years because I served a mission. About 7 years ago, my dad and I sat and talked to you, and we said, "Watch out for me." And it was awesome to come get a play against you. We kind of had that moment that was like, oh, dang, this is kind of cool.
That is such a cool memory, and a legendary coach, obviously, and I'm sure he was probably kicking himself afterwards, like, man, I should have recruited this guy, right? Like, obviously, they had a great team, but still, they always can use a shooter. Always can use a shooter, no matter what.
Look, he had Salim come through. Then he probably had Gilbert Arenas the next year. So I wasn't even a blimp. I wasn't even a blimp. But for me, it was like, hey, my dad wasn't wrong. My dad wasn't wrong.
That's right. That's the biggest thing. Dad wasn't wrong. So, all right. So what do you got this year winning it all, JC? Like, who's in your bracket? Who's winning it and why?
Oh, I think I picked Michigan. They're still in, right? Yeah.
Yep. They're still in it.
They're still in it.
I think I picked Michigan. And for a couple reasons. One, they got a Spanish kid named Adaimara. It was about 7'4", really long, really lanky. I've had some conversations with him, and he broke some kind of blocks record or something for their league or for their team. And I think that's a big anchor for their defense. That'll be tough.
Yeah.
So that's what I picked. Arizona, after watching them yesterday, I mean, Aggies made a nice second half run to get it close. But their size was just unreal. Their size from top to bottom. I think teams that are built with a really strong defensive foundation and size, they can overcome a bad shooting night. So teams that live and die by being good offensive and good shooting, I think they can go win the whole thing, but they can also have that one night that it doesn't go in, and that defensively grounded team will succeed.
Yeah, no doubt. Arizona with Krivas and Koa Pede, and they're bringing a guy like Toby Awaka off the bench, and that dude would start at 350 other Division I programs. It's unbelievable. They're so good. And that's kind of been the storyline for the NCAA tournament this year is, okay, the Blue Bloods feel even more blue-blooded. And we've seen back-to-back years where there are just fewer and fewer Cinderella teams. I think Texas is the lowest seeded team remaining as an 11, if you want to call Texas a Cinderella. Iowa at a 9 seed, Tennessee at a 6 seed. JC, when you look at what the game is becoming, do you think the age of Cinderella teams is officially over? Does the slipper no longer fit?
Playing on college teams as an underdog the whole time, I'm going to say no. That's just pure out of me wanting that to be true. But I do think it is getting more and more difficult. The way that good players that could lift a mid-major program is just going to leave. And they don't have consequences. In fact, they're rewarded for leaving in really high financial ways. That I do think it becomes more and more difficult for Cinderella to happen. I really do.
I mean, your boy Stephen Ashworth left Utah State, great shooter like you, for a place like Creighton because of the NIL era. And you're right. It just feels like if you're good at a mid-major program, it is so difficult to not want to chase a bigger program, bigger opportunity, and certainly the bigger money. And I think about a guy like you, like had you had that opportunity, I mean, hypothetically speaking, how would you have navigated that type of scenario?
Yeah, I've had that question posed a bunch of times by coaches, by other people around here in Cache Valley, and it would be hard because honestly, I did come out of Wyoming. No one knew about me, and then I go in. I have a great freshman year. I'm freshman of the year. I'm tournament MVP. I have a really nice tournament game on national TV. That, yeah, for sure, there would have been interest to go somewhere for money that Utah State couldn't have paid. And where I was as a kid, I don't think I could have said no. I don't think I could have. I think I would have been, yeah, these guys are going to pay me $2 million, $1 million, and that sets me up really well for a long time. I think it would have been hard. I'm fortunate, and I try to balance the line as I talk to the college kids now. Hey, what should I do? There's something to staying and creating a legacy, and a lot of opportunities that come of that, and being a part of a program for a long time. And then you have to balance it with, well, does that compensate, an extra $1 million or so down the road? It's tough.
It is. It's really tough. And it's one of those things where you'd like to think that you would be a loyal person, right? Like as a player, you're always like, man, I if I were in that position, I feel like I would be able to stay and want to be there for all 4 years and all stuff. But when you're in that situation as a young kid and you see these numbers that are getting thrown out at you, it's really difficult. So I completely understand it. I have no faults for the kids for what they're doing, because they are trying to market themselves and get the most out of their college career, because who knows what's going to happen afterwards. Some of them are going to go professional. Some of them aren't. Some of them may have lucrative professional careers. Maybe they don't. So it's like, this is an opportunity to make money now and set themselves up. So I totally understand that perspective. If from your standpoint though, Jaycee, do you think NIL is ruining college sports, or what do you think as far as that's concerned? Just my 2 cents, I don't think it's ruining it at all. I think it's actually bringing better talent to the college, because a lot of professionals from Europe and other places are actually coming to the sport. But it's just different. But what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not that grumpy old guy saying it's ruining it. Maybe I'm the grumpy old guy every once in a while saying, "Oh man," I'm not that guy. And I don't know what the solutions are. I do think there needs to be some kind of coming together, some kind of, the rich just keep getting richer. I watched in European basketball. Why is Real Madrid so good every year? Well, we had the biggest budget. We could go out and pay the guys the most to get the best players. We had the best flights. We had the best training facilities. We chartered flights. We have our own residence up in Valdebebas where we practiced. That we had a food program. Like, you have all those things that just feeds to us being a good program. And so I don't know if each conference could start to come together and, hey, here's some salary caps. Here's the amount of money we can work within. Like, you can work up to this much. It's okay if you can't hit that limit, but there's a limit that we can start to play around a little bit more fair rules. Maybe that's a bit of a solution. I'm not saying it is, but it's not ruining it. It's making it a little interesting, and it's taking some of the fun out of the Cinderellas like we talked about.
He was an international basketball star for a decade with Real Madrid. Utah State basketball legend Jaycee Carroll is on from the logo. We asked Meta World Peace last week, Jaycee, what NIL deal he would have liked, and he said he wanted a ride to and from practice, or like maybe home from a party. So he wanted Uber.
He wanted Yellow Cab. Yellow Cab specifically because of his New York City roots. He's like, I don't know, maybe Yellow Cab.
He wanted some food, and he wanted the taxi, okay? But what business would you have liked to partner with if you were given the opportunity?
Good question. Some kind of food service would have been good. Eating in college was the hardest thing for me. I didn't take time to cook. I didn't take time. My freshman year, I kind of had a meal plan at the cafeteria because they made me live on campus. Feeding myself was one of the hardest things. I was too. Yeah. I said too lazy, but it's also just so busy to meal plan and prep. So some kind of meal service would be great. I now have a meal service that delivers some food to my house that I get to cook up, and that's made my life a lot different. I know what my weekly menu is. What the heck else would I wanted to partner with? Oh, I don't have a good answer.
JC, you know what mine was? You know what mine was? Mine was? I've always wanted this. Got milk. That's what I wanted. I wanted got milk, JC. I wanted that milk mustache, and I wanted to be on that commercial. And I wanted limited milk, chocolate milk, because I loved it. Absolutely loved that. Was mine. I would be my number one, 100%.
That's good. Great recovery.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to be recovered in style.
Yep, I like that. So I don't have a better answer. What?
All right.
Some outdoor company that gave me some outdoor gear.
Cotopaxi.
Yeah. Something like that. That would have got me pretty excited. I would have been pretty cheap back in the day.
Yeah, let's get Jaycee hooked up with the North Face and call it good retroactively. As we tape this, Jaycee, a bit of breaking news. Doesn't happen often when we record these on From the Logo, but we just learned that Jared Calhoun, the head coach of Utah State, is going to Cincinnati to be the Bearcats' next head coach.
I was afraid that you were going to say something like that. I had heard. I was afraid you were going to say something like that.
That's like, what is that? 3 coaches? Like, that's 3 or 4 great coaches in the last 5, 6, 7 years that have left.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, look, Coach Odom is currently coaching at Virginia. He was on last night after the Aggies, or before the Aggies. So Odom, Sprinkle to Washington. Now we got this guy going to Cincinnati. And before that, went to Utah.
Yes.
Craig Smith.
Yes, exactly. There's 4 right there. I mean, geez. The thing is, you guys have such a good program. You produce great players, great, facilities. People come, they know Utah State's a basketball school. You're getting these great coaches, and then obviously the money talks, and they end up going to these bigger schools. It's like the NIL with these players. You talk about the player movement. There's also a lot of coach movement. So it's one of those things where you can't blame the kids either.
No. And look, so I get asked, what's the solution? What's the solution getting a coach Morrill here for 17 years? And it's pretty simple at this point, because we are going to Pac-12. We win. Yeah. The money's great. Like, there's guys up here. I mean, they're making good money. They're obviously not making Cincinnati money, but but they're making good money. The key to having a guy that's here for the next 20 years is, I think it has to be someone from the Aggie family, a former player that loves the culture, loves the uniqueness of living in Logan and Cache Valley, and wants to stay there and be that. I've had some guys that are former players make the comment like, $1 million to coach basketball at Utah State? Sign me up. And that's kind of where I am. If that was a path of life I want to go down, this is the job I'd want, because this is where I've chosen to live. And I would be a guy that would be here for the next 20 years if I could win games. If I don't win games, they'll fire me just to quit everyone else. But if I can win games, I'd be a guy to be here for 20 years. And you got like Spencer Nelson, he came back from Europe and he was in the coaching system. Like, we had that continuity from Coach Morrill to Coach Duryea, who kind of got let go too soon. He should have had another year. And then he had he had Spencer Nelson coming on that wanted to be a college basketball coach that would have been able to take that over. All of a sudden, we got that chain of command from Coach Morrill into the next 20 years. We just broke it. We got a new AD that wasn't from around here and broke that chain of command. That thought comes from when I was in Europe. John Shire, he was playing at Gran Canaria. And I'm going to say that this story is true, but also unverified. But, I was hanging out with Martinez Pochutz, who also played at Duke in Real Madrid. And I go, holy cow, what happened? He goes, well, Coach K called John and said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm playing basketball in Europe. He goes, no, you're done. You're coming back home. You're going to be my assistant coach. And that's as far as I know. Then maybe it was, and then you'll take this program over.
Take it over, maybe. Yeah.
But, I mean, that's what I would love to see Utah State do. Was like, hey, come home. You're gonna be a part of this program until you're tired of it, and then we'll move on. And I think that's what it takes for Utah State to have more of continuity with coaches.
Wow. Okay, so unofficially, are you throwing your name in the mix in any capacity, JC?
Yeah.
Hey, with basketball, I never say no to about anything.
There you go. There you
Look,
go.
when it comes to hoops, I love hoops, man. Like, I love my job. I love my new career. But when it comes to hoops, I sit in a gym for 20 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels good. This feels like home. I love this. I do have 3 years of coaching experience right now.
There you go.
I
Hey,
mean, we
listen,
just
you don't need that much coaching experience. I mean, there's guys that have gotten a lot bigger jobs with a lot less. Let's just put it that way, JC. So I'll throw your name in the hat for you right now.
There you go.
So, hey, Utah State, listen, if you're looking for a guy,
Bring him home.
he is
Bring you and Spencer Nelson home.
100%. I'm all for that. But I agree with you. Like, I think there's something to be said about someone who knows the landscape of Utah State or their alma mater in general, right?
Yeah.
Like, it means something more to them. And when you have that and they're not just looking for their next spot, they're happy with where they are because they love it. It just creates culture. So I love that you're thinking that way, and it'll be interesting to see, how it goes now with the job opening. So
it does. I mean, look at BYU's women's coach. Who's that guy?
Come honored.
My man.
Who's coaching the
He's my
University of
man.
Utah right now?
I know. Jensen.
I don't know.
Jensen.
I don't know much about the BYU men's coach. I should be a little bit more. Is he? He's got to be a BYU guy, right?
So no, so KY, yeah, KY did not go to BYU. Yeah, he started coaching at Utah Valley. He played at Clayton State in Georgia, got into the coaching circles at UVU, and then got into the NBA G League and kind of made his way up the hard way to the Philadelphia 76ers with Brett Brown, and then got into the Phoenix Suns. And so he took a hard route. It was a grind for him, but he's not the BYU guy that came back. But your point is still valid, JC. I mean, we're
100%.
seeing more and more guys return to their core and their programs to lead those teams. Jerry McNamara just got hired at Syracuse.
Syracuse, man. I'm telling you, he wanted that job for a while, and that's he did a great job at Siena, and now he's back there. So I mean, there's something to be said about that. It's happening.
All right, let's take this thing big picture as we talk professional hoops now and get into your professional ventures as well, JC. And I want to begin with the NBA draft class that is expected here in 2026. And most are speculating it's going to be the best since 2003, which I know you can appreciate because it featured LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade when you were playing high school basketball in Evanston. This year, who would you take number one overall? Because it feels like there are about 4 or 5 guys that are can't miss.
Easy answer is that BYU kid.
AJ.
I mean,
AJ DiBonsa, yeah.
I mean, he seems to be like a pretty good basketball player. He showed out in the first round.
A little bit. Yeah.
I mean, BYU unfortunately got bounced a little early, but he did his job. What do you have, 35, 36?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he did his job. I listened to him talk, his interviews. He seems articulate. He seems smart. He's been thrown financial responsibility really quickly, really early, and he seems to have handled that well for the most part. So, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't go with a guy that has all those characteristics.
I'm with you. I would pick AJ too. He's got the highest upside in my opinion. He's so tall. He's athletic. He can shoot. He can score. He can defend. He can kind of do everything you need, and that's like what you are looking for in an NBA player to actually change your franchise. It's that type of body type, that type of player, that type of athlete, and he's got the motor for it. Kid wants it. So, I'm totally there with you. He's obviously some really great players coming up in this draft. It'll be fun to see what happens. So I want to transition now, talk about you a little bit and about your career and, obviously unbelievably decorated career as a pro that began in Italy, but obviously largely in Spain with Real Madrid, played from 2011 to 2021. One of the best shooters in Europe and European history, honestly. You won the World EuroLeague twice, Spanish League 5 times. Obviously just unbelievable, unprecedented career over there. What is your favorite accomplishment or the accomplishment that you're most proud of over in Europe?
All right. Perfect. There's kind of 2 moments that really stand out to me. Two accomplishments and like 1 moment. There's my European
Okay.
threes. Like that's I'm
There you go. Yeah, that's right. Give him the threes.
I spent a lot of time over there.
Yes, you did.
so there's kind of two accomplishments in like one moment that kind of give me goosebumps still. The first one was my first year at Real Madrid. I just played 2 years in the Spanish league in the Canary Islands, and I was, I led the league in scoring those 2 years, and it was like, hey, I can do this. I can score there, I can score here, I can score anywhere. I can score in a box, I score with the Fox, whatever. But it was like, hey, but there was kind of rumors and people. I just kept hearing things like, he's too small to be a EuroLeague player. He's too small to be a EuroLeague player. And then we went to the King's Cup with Gran Canaria in Madrid, played against Madrid. And I had just one of my most well-rounded basketball games. I shot the ball 16 times. I scored 31 or 32 points on 16 shot attempts. I went 5 for 7 from 3. I had a backdoor dunk. I played a ball screen, and I made the right pass. And I left that tournament, and everyone said, okay, this guy can play EuroLeague. So that kind of set up my next season at Real Madrid. Real Madrid is the most historic club in Europe. They won the most championships, all this stuff. But I don't know if you guys know this, or most people don't. They had not won the Spanish King's Cup in 19 years. It had been 19 seasons that they hadn't won it. And Barcelona was the monster at that time. And we went in the King's Cup that year. We played Barcelona in Barcelona for the championship. And I had 0 points at halftime. And I was like, I'm sitting there at halftime, I'm like, oh my, I'm not even going to make a point. I'm not even going to help the team. And then I got this moment. And in the last 14 minutes of the game, I scored 22 points in the last 14 minutes and took it from a tie game to a 19-point win. And so, that's one, moment where I was like, oh my gosh, like that was amazing. And then the next one was in 2015, we just lost in the championship EuroLeague finals. The previous 2 years, back to back, we lost in the championship game. The championship game was in Madrid, and I came out fearless. Like I just was ready to freaking go. I had no fear. I was confident, it was off the charts. And we got into the third quarter. Again, it was about a tie game. And I can't remember now. That's how much I've thought about it. But in a minute 30, I scored 11 straight points in a minute 30 seconds. I went fade away, falling down, three-pointer, swish, get it back, three-pointer, swish, get it back, next trip, three-pointer, swish. My teammate shoots it. He misses it. We got off his right, throw it to me. I make a layup. And so it was 11 straight points in a minute 30 span that took the game from tie to up 10, and we never looked back.
Nothing better.
Your Reggie Miller moment,
Yeah, exactly,
man.
exactly.
Incredible stuff. And if you want to have a good time, like I did this earlier today, I just went to YouTube and searched Jaycee Carroll Real Madrid highlights. Like there are some epic combinations
good stuff.
that people have thrown out there. Do you ever do that? Do you ever show your kids? You got 4 kids. Like, hey, Dad was
they had to have seen the YouTube clips. They've seen the YouTube clips at some point for sure.
Look, so two things. I got pictures around my office. That's why I'm kind of looking where they're at.
Yeah, I see it.
But so Jagger, he's 8. And all of a sudden, he's just a basketball fanatic now. Just loves it, wants to talk about it. He wants to go buy basketball cards. And he comes to me about a month ago. He goes, hey, Dad, have you ever made a game-winning shot? And I was like, you haven't seen one? Like, there's one on YouTube. And so we pulled up YouTube and we looked at it. He's just like, oh, wow. And hold on, I got it right here.
Let's go.
Let me see.
I love it.
Let's go.
So a friend gave this to me. They just gave a picture of it. So this was the game-winning shot.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
How cool is that?
That's sweet.
Against
Wide
Barcelona.
open, too. Wide open.
Lost the highlight. I shot faked the guy, and he flew by me, and then I
He flew
shot
by.
it.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, Victor Claver. But so that's a
Come on.
so
Vic.
I did show him that, and then I mentioned I've been coaching. So I coach high school girls basketball. It's awesome. One of the great basketball joys of my life. And my first year, I don't know if I was trying to convince them that I knew what I was talking about or not, but it was about every week I would show a little YouTube clip, and I tried to say, like, see, this is the play we're running, and this is how it's supposed to look. And so we get to the end of the season. They're like, hey, how long are we going to be here? I go, we'll only be in team room for like 3 minutes. And they kind of really go, are you going to show us another video of yourself? And I was like, no. And that day I really wasn't going to. They're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to watch today? And so I do share a few things from my past. It does bring me some happiness.
Of course.
Great stuff.
That is
Jaycee
awesome.
Carroll on From the Logo. Fantastic insight into coaching girls high school basketball. Okay, it's time for our built question of the episode. And you probably talked about this with your teams as well, but what's the hardest lesson you ever learned as a professional?
Ooh, man, that's really tough. The first thing that comes to mind was simple. At Madrid, I love Coach Lasso, Pablo. I played with him for 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I was with him for 10 seasons. And we never knew who the starting lineup was going to be. It was always
you guys would change it all the time.
We would change it all the time, and it was to this day it had no rhyme or reason. So one of the toughest lessons that I had to learn was what it was like to come off the bench and how to come off the bench and make an impact, and how to sit on the bench and be a good teammate. It's really easy to come off the bench like, oh, I should be in there, I should do this, and be pouty. And I had those moments. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had those moments where I was pouty, and then it kind of hit me as like, that guy probably deserves to play as much as me or wants to play just as much as me. Why would I treat my teammate poorly, or why did I not cheer for that guy? Like, he's not making the decision going. He wants to play just as badly as I do. I need to be happy for his success. So when I kind of changed to, oh, I'm better than him, I should be playing, to, hey, I'm going to cheer for him and he'll cheer for me. I'll be happy for his success because it contributes to our team's success. Like, that shift was hard, but when it happened, it made my professional career in basketball that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a hard lesson to learn too. I've been there. It's the same thing where you're just like, man, you got to put your ego aside. You got to do what's best for the team, and if you do that, it comes back eventually. It really does. I truly believe that, but it is not easy to do at first. So yeah, I commend you for that.
It's not. And Rudy Fernandez, right? You guys remember Rudy?
Oh yeah,
Rudy. Yeah,
so again, I played 10 years with Rudy, and whether or not, and I say with all the love, I love the dude. That dude had an ego. He was special, and he was special. Sure. But in moments that really counted, he was so good at that. Like, we'd be at a timeout. This was early on. This was like year one. Coach was running a play for Rudy, and Rudy goes, no. He goes, run it for Jaycee. Like, Jaycee's hot. Yeah. Let's run it for him.
Right.
Like, he had that. Even we had one game. It was
awesome.
We were losing by a point. He gets fouled. I'm sitting on the bench. He gets fouled with a chance, like 5 seconds, with 2 free throws to put us up 1. And I'm not confirming or denying that he did get poked in the eye.
He faked the injury.
But he goes, I can't see. I can't see.
Someone else needs to shoot.
Pick someone. So we get to pick someone to shoot free throws. I'm sitting on the bench. Jaycee, go shoot free throws. Hilarious. So I kind of get thrown in. And I end up making the 2 free throws, but he just had that who has the best chance of making these? Is it me or Jaycee? My eye hurts. I can't see. Have him shoot it. He was awesome like that.
That is so funny.
Get the 92% free throw shooter off the bench.
That's exactly right. Doesn't matter if he's cold or not. He's making those. Oh my goodness, that's a new tactic. I gotta bring that to my teams. Be like, hey, listen, if you
talk to your guys, let them know.
Listen, if you fake it, I'm telling you, if whatever happens, something is lingering. It's all good. So,
oh yeah.
All right, so we're really high on moments in your life. And what do you consider a moment, or maybe a few moments, or something that kind of changed your life, Jaycee?
Okay. Easy. Number one, freshman in high school. I knew from the time I was 12 years old, I wanted to play professional basketball. I was 12 years old. I wrote it down in school. What are your 3 goals? Professional basketball player, maybe a missionary, and a state champion swimmer. Fast forward to my freshman year, I'm like, all right, I'm going to play on the varsity team. I played freshman basketball. They took me on a road trip. They put me on the sophomore bench. I played 13 seconds in that sophomore game. I was like, what? Like, why am I here? I was mad. End of that season, our high school coach goes, here's a shooting workout. It's 500 shots. I want you all to do it this summer. Gym's open from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. Go up, get it done. You'll be a member of the 10,000 shot club. It just clicked with me. I said, all right, here it is. Organized shot workout. I went up 4 days a week in the summer. Did my 500 shots. Member of the 500 shot club. So I went from my freshman year, 13 sections, the sophomore game, to starting and leading the varsity team next year as a sophomore, to my junior, went back, same thing that summer. Now I averaged 29 points a game as a junior, then I averaged 39 points a game as a senior, and just was like, this works. So Coach Jim Schaefer giving me that paper was a moment that changed the trajectory of my life and my career.
So cool.
Wow. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned that on that goal sheet was being a member, or a missionary rather, for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as well. So how did that decision and your faith there guide you in your basketball career and now into raising your family?
Yeah, that was hard. It was a hard decision. I was the first missionary from my family. My dad, he wasn't a missionary, and what happened with that too, my freshman year, I started going to seminary, and I had a seminary teacher that all he talked about was his mission. I can still tell you his missionary stories, Elder Shade and wrecking a car and wrecking his bike. A lot of his involved wrecking things. But he talked about his mission so much, I was like, But another thing happened at that time. There was an older person named Brady Papinga.
The Papingas.
That's right.
That went to college, or went on a mission, and then he went to BYU, and he had a lot of success on the football field. His younger brother, Kelly, was a senior my sophomore year. So we played basketball together, we played football together, and he went on a mission and came back and had success. So all of a sudden it started to click that, hey, I can live my basketball dreams and take time away and go be a missionary first. And so a combination of, Brother Wagner in seminary, and then Brady Papinga, Kelly Papinga showing me by their example what that looks like, ultimately got me on a mission and had me sit there and go, hey, this is, as I was getting recruited, I'm going to be a missionary, and then you have me for my entire time.
Oh, that's so great. I love that. And yeah, it's not an easy decision. Kudos to you for obviously making that and serving the Lord and making that a priority, because that's what, this life is about. That's what, we want to continue to convey on this podcast, that, athletes are great. They're great at something, whatever it is that their profession is, but, being a good person, serving the Lord, that's the most important thing that we can do. And that's what people will remember us for. So I appreciate you sharing that. And, kind of talking about your family a little bit. What was it like, balancing your marriage and parenting and your family as you were playing a professional sport over in Europe? Because you guys had to live over in Europe, that whole time, because it's a long season over there. It's 10 months. Like, there's no, kind of living in the States, going back and forth. You're there for that whole time. So how was that balancing act?
Yeah, it's hard, but honestly, as a young married couple, we loved it. It was a wonderful experience. All my kids were born over there. I mean, we go over to Teramo, Italy, and we were in a small town, small community. It smelled like fireplaces and firewood, because everyone was still burning fire. We were in the mountains, the Abruzzo Mountains, and it was so cool. My oldest daughter, Bella, was born there. We named her Bella because it's Italian for beautiful. It was like, hey, this works out. But it was tough. Like you said, it is 10 months of being over there. All those places are awesome to visit for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, we saw the Colosseum and the Pantheon and all these beautiful things. But then it settles into real life. And I love Spain. Like, I lived there for 12 years. I love Spain. And it's very modern, and you have everything you need, but it's still not home. And you're still not there with your friends. You still don't have your family. You're still not home. As much as you try to become involved in that, it's still not. So I'm forever grateful for my wife and the sacrifices she made to go over there. We gained a lot of bonuses, but there were sacrifices that were made. And I'm very grateful for my kids. They have such an outlook on life that's different than what you can get around here. So how do we balance it the best we could? She would, my family would stay here an extra month without me. They'd come back a month early so they could be around friends and family more. And then when we were over there, we were Spanish citizens. I mean, we were living in Spain. We were speaking Spanish. We were eating Spanish food. We tried to become part of the culture.
Fantastic stuff all around, Jaycee. As we close out, we typically have a few quick hitters that sometimes are random in nature, but just fun questions to ask. And so because you played in so many venues and you've been around the world in your hoops career, what's the greatest basketball venue you've ever played in?
Okay. A hard question answered. I know one word is probably the way it should be. Look, college Spectrum at those times were unbelievable. It just was. My ears are still ringing. Look, European basketball places to go watch a game if you're a fan. Go to Belgrade, Serbia, in that new arena. Partizan.
Red Star.
Oh, man. Red Star. You go watch, where Jimmer played. Go watch Panathinaikos.
Yeah, Panathinaikos.
That place all right. Go hang out in Fenerbahce in Istanbul for a little bit, and it gets wild. It gets wild. My first team, Teramo, Italy, sat 3,500 people. That's all that could fit in there, but it had a concrete dome roof. My ears have never hurt so bad, and my lungs never burned so bad due to cigarette smoke.
Yeah, for the smoke.
As those places. So,
oh man,
hey,
joys.
The NBA or the NCAA Final Four, an all-time thing you have to go watch. But if you want to go watch another amazing weekend of basketball, you go to the Spanish Kings Cup in February, and then you go to the EuroLeague Final Four in April, I think, and you will watch unbelievable basketball with an unbelievable atmosphere.
So cool.
Yeah, it's about as good as it gets over there. It's absolutely incredible. So that's so funny. One quick hitter from me. What is the most important thing in shooting a jump shot? Like, what people ask me this all the time, right? Like, what do you need to know? What is important, obviously, from one of the best shooters to ever play the game of basketball?
Confidence.
Love it.
I'm not going to say I could talk footwork, I could talk hand placement, I could talk this, but if you could do all that stuff, but if you don't have confidence and you jump up and make it, you'll be a terrible shooter. So there's that waves. Even as a good shooter, there's highs, there's lows, there's moments in the season when it's like, all right, how do I go back and get this? So if I could give any shooter, reps, like do your reps, but if I could give you a little box of confidence that you always had that's what I'd give you so you could be a good shooter.
Love it. And finally, totally unrelated to anything we've talked about, because you're an Evanston guy and a rancher, could you teach Jimmer and I how to ride a horse properly at some point?
Let's go. Hey, the sun is starting to shine. The cows are having babies. Horses are ready to rock. Let's go. Let's get you up here for a weekend. We'll
Let me tell you my quick story on the first time I ever got on a horse, because it was not that long ago, right? It was in my adult life. My wife rode horses her whole life. She did equestrian. She did the English side, right? So she was hunter jumper. We go to Alaska. In Alaska, we decided to do a trail ride. It's the first time I've ever gotten on a horse. Okay, Cowboy Mark was our guy. Okay, that's who was our trail guide. Definitely didn't have a certification. We have no idea where we found this guy. Cowboy Mark gets us on these horses. We're sitting there. We're riding trail rides, right? Walk along the beach, walk along the mountains, all that stuff. We get to this pasture. My wife and her family have all ridden horses a lot, right? I'm on for the first time. Cowboy Mark's like, hey, if you guys want to go ahead and go fast, and gallop a little bit, you can.
No boy.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm not going to gallop. Like, I'm just going to sit in the back over here. Well, Whitney and everyone's like, great. Boom. Start to gallop.
Oh yeah.
Horses do not just stand. I guess they just don't stand behind. As soon as they see the other horses gallop, they are going. And I'm sitting on this horse galloping, and I had no idea what to do. It was life-threatening, JC. Like, I didn't know what to do. What was going on? So I need to get on a horse and actually learn how to do this, because that was terrifying.
Good. Hey, kudos to your wife for making you get out there and do that. And yeah, those horses don't want to be alone too bad. They want to be with their buddies. But hey, anytime, bring your wife up. Let's bring both your wives, bring kids. Let's go for a ride. Okay. Check things out. We can chat a little bit more. But
Okay.
There's plenty of hoops
Sounds
to
good.
talk and life to talk outside of, the hour we got to spend together now.
Perfect.
Great stuff. Jaycee, you've been so kind and generous with your time today. We're better because of you, man, and we
Right.
appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Hey, thank you. Thanks. Love talking to you. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
The great Jaycee Carroll. Let's call a timeout. When we return, Jimmer and I open up the mailbag of listener questions and comments in Open Gym and get to our always critical grammar pet peeve of the week. We're built from the logo. The show rolls on after this.
Like when Grandma was baking cookies, and she'd let you lick the batter. It feels like a fluffy hug. Cookie dough.
What the puff? This thing has 15 grams of protein.
Grandma loved protein.
So, this is your stop.
Fluffy, chocolatey, and packed with protein. What the puff? Built Puff.
From the logo, Jimmer Fredette rolls on, and we now open up things to our listeners and viewers with your submitted questions and social media straight to us. Jimmer said he's fully caffeinated already. As am I. Spilt flavor of the day is strawberry. It is delicious. It is my wife Brittany's favorite. Cannot beat it. You got cookies and cream?
Cookies and cream, my man. I love it.
Let's
love the
go.
cookies
All right.
and cream.
Jimmer, caffeinated, ready to go. Start us off with our first submission in Open Gym.
Okay, here we go. We got a comment here from Coach J Pup on Instagram. Okay, so I talked about it and I said, we were talking about Ohio, Miami of Ohio, and how they go undefeated, that they should just 100% be in the tournament if you go undefeated. So I said, I agree, but they didn't. That's extremely hard to do, saying, going undefeated. No matter what conference they're in, I still think that they should absolutely be in. Coach J Pup then goes on and says, I get it. They should. Extremely rare to go undefeated. If they make it so that you win your conference and you get in, then that fixes the situation, gives more value to the regular season.
Okay.
So
Auto bid to the regular
he's
season
saying
champ?
the auto bid to the regular season champ. And I told him, I was like, I actually like this take. I don't think that they put enough emphasis on the conference, the actual regular season conference.
Yeah.
Like, if you go through the Big 12 and play all of these teams, and you go and you win the conference outright,
Auto bid.
how do you not get an auto bid for that? You know what I mean? Then you have I understand the tournaments. They're fun. People love them. Then it creates that drama. Well, maybe you can do two bids for the big conferences or something like that. Whatever it is. You know what I mean? Auto bids for winning the conference, because that is saying something. If you go through a whole season and win conference, I think there's something there. I don't know how to put it together yet, but I like that take a little bit.
All right, great stuff. Regular season champs with an auto bid. That's a unique take.
It is.
Our next entry is our built question/comment of the week and comes from, as Jimmer takes in the spilt, Colby417, who says, dude, the Built Puff, great bar and even better place to work. Okay, so shout out to Colby, who obviously works for Built. Just out of curiosity, what's your favorite flavor of Built Puff right now? Mine changes almost weekly.
Peanut butter chocolate. Love it. I can't get over a peanut butter. Anything peanut butter chocolate is just, it's what I do.
So there's peanut butter cup and there's peanut butter cookie chunk. Both are delicious.
Yeah. The peanut butter cookie chunk is the one. That's
right
the
now.
one.
Banana cream pie is probably my favorite right now. Like it's a unique flavor.
One.
Yes, but banana cream pie, delicious. Okay, thanks for the entry from Colby417. And then Jimmer, this next one from @GoesForIt. This was on YouTube. The submission is in response to you and Meta World Peace joining forces in the From the Logo podcast. And Goes For It says, this is the funniest combination of two NBA players imaginable. Jimmer and Meta. What say ye, Jimmer?
I'm with you, to be honest with you. on the surface level, you would think that there's not a whole lot in common, right? Like, that's just how it would work. Meta is the man, though. And like I said, I've gotten to know him a little bit. He is a fellow New Yorker. Obviously, he's from the city. I'm from upstate, but we are from New York. Reminisce on that a little bit. He's obviously played against a lot of the same teams that I did growing up in AAU and all these different things. But he's really a unique and interesting guy, and we've gotten have a little bit of a friendship. And because of that, we've gotten to know each other, and we have different perspectives on a lot of different things, but we love to chat, and just an awesome opportunity to have him on the podcast. But yes, definitely you would not put us together if you were, like, hey, these guys, they should for sure do a podcast together. I get it.
We'll have him on again. You bookmark that.
100%.
That takes us to Spencer's grammar pet peeve of the week. And it's pretty simple this time around, Jimmer.
Gosh.
It is the word regardless versus irregardless. I feel very strongly about this. There are those out there that say, but irregardless is a word, Spencer. If you stop it. Stop it. I'll say this. The definition in most dictionaries is simply listed as regardless. Okay, along with a note that says non-standard or similar. Okay, Merriam-Webster, for you dictionary lovers, says when you type in irregardless to, quote, use regardless instead. The Chicago Manual of Style, because we know that's the manual of manuals, calls irregardless an error and instructs writers to use regardless or possibly irrespective. So, Jimmer, regardless of what our viewers and listeners believe, irregardless is not a proper use of the word.
Irregardless. I think I've said that a couple times back in the day. I really actually have.
Now I'm gonna give you a little bit of leeway here because it's probably the combination of two words, regardless and irrespective. Those are synonyms. Regardless and irrespective mean the same thing. So it probably got combined to make the erroneous word of irregardless. Okay.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. What would irregardless mean? Like, what would it mean, Spence?
Well, that's kind of a double negative. Okay.
Yeah,
but because it's become so accepted, people are just like, oh, it's just like it's a synonym of regardless. No. I'm drawing the line. And irrespective of what anyone else thinks, we are building great speakers of the English language. That is my grammar pet peeve of the week. If you would like to submit questions or other grammar pet peeves for me, Jimmer, and thoughts on our guests, the next show, follow us on all of our social media platforms at JimmerFTL on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok. When we return, what did Jimmer's teams just pull off on the 3x3 circuit in Thailand? Yeah! From the logo, powered by Build, continues after this.
The saying goes, you shouldn't cry over spilled milk. But what if the milk you spill is spilt milk? Your favorite treat ruined by your clumsiness. And now those 20 delicious grams of day-powering protein and that perfect boost of caffeine are everywhere but where they should be. Your mouth. So cry over your spilt, turn on your sad sprinklers, then stand tall and buy a fresh spilt at a retailer near you. Spilt. Milk worth crying over.
From the logo into the final quarter with our USA Basketball 3x3 update presented by Wilner and O'Reilly. Just call Kelly at Wilner and O'Reilly, an immigration law expert and friend of the show. WilnerO'Reilly.com. GM Jimmer. His teams took a big step towards getting ready for a push to gold in 2028 and did so in Thailand. Jimmer, what's the good word from your 3x3 teams and your travels?
Man, the Thailand trip was a big success. Let's just put it that way. We had an incredible time. I told you about the team that we had. James Parrott, Justin Pierce, Caden Pierce, Riley Batten. We ended up winning the whole thing out there, Spence. We got the championship. Let's go. First time we've won an international competition like that since 2019, actually, for the USA of the Men USA tournament, right? And
so you didn't even do that.
I never won. I won the AmeriCup. We won the Pan American Games. We won a couple of different things, but we didn't win the World Cup. And the Champions Cup wasn't there when I was there. So we didn't win an international competition. We didn't win the Olympics, right? So that didn't happen since the World Cup in 2019 that we won. So because of that, that is obviously a great win. We lost our first game to the Netherlands. The very first game we played, we lost, and we didn't look great. And it was tough, but it's one of those things where the first game doesn't always matter. It's about how you continue to progress. The guys got back with it, ended up beating Madagascar in a great win. Then they ended up beating Australia in a do or die game. Whoever won that game got in. Australia had some really good players. And then after that, played Serbia in the semis, and we beat Serbia. Had a big win against Serbia. Then we played Spain, the same team that won the World Cup last year, in the finals, and we ended up beating Spain. So awesome tournament for us. It's just moving forward in the right direction, right? This was a new group of guys that we put together, and they came together, played hard. They've all played 3x3. They were big, they were long, they were athletic, they were catching lobs, they were playing hard as they possibly could. I'm so proud of the guys, and obviously for USA basketball, it's a great step forward in the right direction. Just letting people know, hey, we're here, we're playing this, we're doing it more, we're bringing different guys in as well. Like, we're bringing a collective group of guys that we can pull from that can kind of beat anybody at any time. And that's what we're trying to do, put ourselves in the best position. So extremely happy with what happened this last week in Thailand.
Competing at that gold standard level. I love to hear it, man. Glad you're back safely from your trip across the globe.
Let's go.
Survived another 15-hour flight or whatever it was.
Never fun.
Great stuff.
Yes.
Final thought from you as we say goodbye.
Man, thanks to JC for coming on and having a great time with us. He was so great. That breaking news during the pod. I mean, we never break news on this pod. That happened today. All right, just so you guys know. But thanks for subscribing, liking, listening to the pod. We appreciate y'all, and we'll be back next week.
Regardless of fatigue, Jimmer is himmer. Get some rest, brother.
Let's go.
Reminder, we are built for more, so shoot your shot in life. We'll see you next time.